So talk a little bit about how library resources are selected in your libraries.
Library resources that I'm going to expand that, not be just the print items, because our content is definitely beyond our walls as well. So, but with our print resources, the place that we start are typically with our jobbers. Fortunately, most of them have websites where you can access the review with the book right in front of you, so you're not having to go from one source to another. There's also, you can search for things such as, I want the starred school library journal titles. And if you click on that, it's going to give you all the starred reviews from a certain, whatever date period that you choose. So you can kind of narrow down some of it, so you're kind of weeding out from the beginning those titles that haven't been reviewed or haven't received really good reviews. And then some of the vendors also include like the statewide list. There's a speaker, her name is Peggy Sharp, that does this workshop all around the nation, and she talks about the best children's books that were published in the past year. And so some of the vendors have that list of books already there for you, so you can just pull that list down, say, add all to my basket, and then you can go through and review each title to make that process even easier for you. So we rely on our jobbers quite a bit for that. We also take suggestions from parents, teachers, and students. And then those definitely have to follow our, just because it's suggested doesn't mean that we'll purchase it, because it must meet our collection development policy that, it has to be of good quality, it needs to meet our objectives. Same with donations. People try and donate books to us, and sometimes they're not the books that we really want. They probably were weeded from a home collection for a reason, and so that doesn't mean that that our library is the best place for them. So, but back to what we purchase. I digress. We use a variety of sources. We do not limit our librarians to just one or two vendors that they can buy from, which I think is important. Our vendor list has about 70 different companies on it that they can pick and choose from any of them for their print needs. Our electronic content, we have a good number of the Gale ebooks, which we find an excellent resource because Gale provides a quality product. The information within their product is of high quality, and their reputation cannot be beat. And one thing about their e-content is that when I buy one of their ebooks, we have simultaneous access for unlimited users. So it isn't some of these other book models where it's one book to one user. So there are some vendors that if you purchase one of their ebooks, if one person accesses that ebook, then if another person attempted to use that ebook, then it isn't possible for someone else to view it. So, and we're just now starting, we're investigating using downloadable audiobooks as a part of our collection for our students, so, and for the public as well. So we try and meet what we think our users would like. How do we know that what we're thinking is what our users want?
How did you know that's my next question?
We speak with teachers, we talk with students, we meet with other curriculum directors, finding out what is it that they need to have in the classroom. When it comes to the public library side, since we don't do the collection part on that end, it really comes from the public library. We don't typically do a lot on the public side because of their needs are being met collection-wise by the public library. But they have access to our materials as well. So even though the public library is buying specific titles for public use, they have use of all of our materials as well. So including any of our e-content, which it goes a lot further than what we think, because we get to then share in databases. We have our district databases, and then there's city databases. And the public users and our school users have use of both sets of databases. So the content that they have available to them is much more enriched because of that.
Right. Nice. What type of, you work with the vendors, how much processing do they actually do for you?
It really depends on the vendor. We have a short list of vendors that we actually accept processing from. And our definition for processing would be shelf ready, meaning all the barcodes, spine labels, dust jackets, all of that is on the book already. And we have a mark record. We have a small number of vendors that we do that with, but the majority of our vendors we do not request any processing from. And and every book, whether it's processed or not, comes to our processing facility, and they review each and every single mark record if it is a book that we've received processed. And there are 9 different markers that they're looking for to make sure that the quality of the record meets our standard, such as the 100 field, which is your main entry author authority control.
Right.
And then the 245, which is your chief source of information, the title, the author. We also check about 6 or 7 other fields within that record to make sure that the book in hand is the book that's in the computer, and to make sure that does it explain enough about the book that when we're searching for it, we can find that book. So we're thinking of the user when we're looking at it from that standpoint. And then if we don't receive processing, then we either download the mark records from other places, or if we can't find that, then there are 2 catalogers that will do original cataloging, and they're professional catalogers. Our copy catalogers are paraprofessionals that have received quite a bit of training into what we're learning from them. And then at times they'll download records, and then it'll go to the catalogers for review to determine, is this the record that we want for that book? So after the computer portion of that is done, then the processors will add any barcode labels, any spine labels to any books that need to have that done yet. Then it's boxed up and shipped out to a campus, and at that point, any book that goes out to a campus is shelf ready that leaves our processing center.